We never really know how much time we're going to have with someone, how long they're going to be in our lives, and to what extent they're going to be important to us in our lives. I remember before my grandmother passed away, I remember thinking, her mind was going towards the end, and I remember thinking that, there's so many questions that I didn't ask her. There's so much knowledge stored in a person that I didn't even try to really access, that I didn't try to get to know her before she passed. Like, out of all the years that I didn't really try to get to know her in the way that I should have. I felt the significance of something had passed out of my life without me really cherishing it. And I've felt that way about other people too. Like my best friend that passed. I thought, we had a lot of spiritual conversations and we helped each other out a lot. But, afterwards, I thought how much appreciation I could have said how much I appreciated him more often. And how, you are my best friend. I love you, man. Or I love you, brother. Something like that. I wish I had said that more. It always felt cheesy at the time. That's why I didn't say it very often. But afterwards, when somebody's gone, you realize, it doesn't matter how cheesy something sounds. You should tell people you appreciate them more. And that's the sense that I got, of course, too late. And I wasn't mean to him or anything, but you start to realize all the things that you should have said at least more often, if you said it sometimes, maybe you should have said it more, is the understanding I came to afterwards. And as my grandfather is getting older and dementia's kind of getting to him, he's still there, but he doesn't talk as much. He's not as much of a presence. And I'm starting to realize all the conversations that we could have had, how much closer we could have been. And it makes me start to value the people that I have in my life more when I look back on people I should have gotten to know better or appreciated more. I think that we as human beings, we start to take people and things for granted that are always there. And we never really think about, the next day that person could not be in our life, or maybe money too, or things that we have. They are so flimsy, they could pass just like that. There's this coin that I carry, Memento Mori, and it's a Stoic coin. You can pick them up on Amazon. That is the back, if I can get a good shot there. But the back says, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. How much of our lives is consumed by worrying about things that aren't going to matter in 5 years, things that aren't going to matter in a few days, worrying about things we have to do like just chores, or just, the grade on a quiz, or worrying about interactions at work, worrying about how the next audit's going to go, or if you said the wrong thing in a conversation. There's so much of our lives that takes up so much in our lives. And I think that if we really thought about it, and not even just in retrospect, just really thought about it, do we think about the things that matter? Do we spend our time and our mental energy on things that matter to our lives, rather than just matter for a few days, or matter for a month or a year, 10 years? There's so much worry that takes up the space of our mental processes. And there's so many to-do lists in our head. And if we're well organized, then we'll have the to-do lists written down or on our phones or something. But there's all kinds of stuff to do in our heads. And I think that what we should have pinned at the top of our mental, notes or landscape, what we should have pinned at the top is what really matters for our life. What should be important to us, yet we don't place the importance of thought on it, of thinking about it more. And, when a relationship is good with a friend or a lover or a family member, when a relationship is good, you kind of think it's always going to be that way, or that person's always going to be in your life. You never really think about them not being that same presence in your life. And I think if we thought about that more, then we'd say kinder things. We'd do more stuff with people, put more time aside to invest in the people that fill our lives with joy and love. And there are many kinds of love, but that friend might not be around forever. They're not going to be around forever, but they might not be in your life forever. The friendship might change, or the romantic relationship might change, or you might have a falling out with a family member. If we say what our heart tells us wants us to say now, then I think we'll save a lot more grief later. Yet we shouldn't worry about that grief, We shouldn't be constantly telling somebody we love them because we're afraid they're going to die. That's a whole different kind of anxiety and fear. But we don't have to be big in life. We don't have to, be somebody in life. Most of our lives are very small, but the people in them take up a large percentage of what matters to us. We don't really think about that. It's interesting. I think that in different religions and spiritual systems, there's different gods of love or avatars of love. Like you could say, Sri Ramakrishna and Jesus Christ, just avatars in the Hindu sense. And when people talk about their love for Jesus, or Jesus's love, or the love of Sri Ramakrishna and the love that he provided, that he sent out through his works, through his talks, through his sermons, if you will, when we place an avatar or a being or a god of love, when we worship them or hold them dear or try to realize what they meant through their messages, when we're thinking about that love, we place it all the love that we have. We kind of place that entity, that being at the top and the epitome of that love. And that love, it's what's traveling through us. And we shouldn't just hold it all inside. We should let it out. We should be a conduit for the love that we worship in various beings like gods or avatars. We should work on being a conduit and spreading that love rather than just holding it inside and contemplating it. We should act and spread that light, be a crystal that amplifies that light, rather than some kind of black hole that just soaks it up. Because if we all hold all the love inside and we hold that as dear, but we only really hold it for ourselves and we don't hold it for other people or try to pass it on, that love will never be satisfied within ourselves. It's not satisfying to just hold on to love, and you become possessive of it and don't want to lose that love or lose that importance of that being in your life, or your understanding of that avatar, your understanding of that god or goddess. The only way for that to grow within ourselves is to pass it on and allow ourselves to be a channel for that love. I hope that makes sense. To be a being of love, you have to act lovingly. You can't just be loving for yourself. It doesn't work that way. We can't be black holes for love. Everything could pass away and out of our lives. Everything that's in our lives now could pass into a different phase or be gone like that. So whatever you understand love is, the source of love is as being, whatever form you either worship love through or just understand it as coming from a various being, Sri Ramakrishna, Christ, Buddha, Jesus, the Divine Mother Kali, Krishna. The way that we understand what that love really is by acting and passing it on, making it multiply through us. So act lovingly, act with conviction. Don't hold it all inside. Say the things that you need to say now so that they don't get unsaid. Do the things for those in your life that you should do, and you know what you should do. Do those things now or with a greater frequency so that you're not left with just bitter memories, but you're left with the enjoyment of life through experiences with the people in your life that will fill your history in this world, which is a very short time, with more beautiful gems that will make you have a fuller life. Gems being an allegory here, not actual gems. If we just love, jewelry, then it's kind of missing the point. But these gems in the form of people. It's a crazy world. We're not here for that. Human beings don't actually live that long. But we're destined to live in a number of different life situations. Now, I'm kind of talking about Hinduism here and reincarnation, but we're destined to experience life in all forms. If we haven't experienced it in all forms before we became human beings, which we probably did, then there's still so much other lifetimes we have to where we have to experience it in form after form. And that love that we spread now while we're alive in this birth, that love that we spread now will come back around to us when we're in another life, when we're a different person, when we're worrying about different things, when we believe different things, when we look different and we're in a different time and place. That love will reach us again, and then we can spread it again, and then it'll reach us again. So in a way, when we spread around love, we're doing ourselves a favor. We're sending that love to our future selves, who we're going to be, whether it be animal, plant, or human being. Hopefully most of us won't be an animal and plant again. We probably have been many, many times. We want to move forward. We want to ascend. We want to grow. The way to grow is to spread love around. And karma, or Akashic records, everything's kept track of. If you're suffering right now, if you're in pain, if you're in grief, try to think of it just as burning off bad karma. And that means you'll have way more good karma to spend in the future. If you're in some kind of trouble, some kind of pain, just think of it as you're paying some kind of bill that was owed. And you might not know when you're done repaying it, but just know that through the pain, you're paying it. This makes karma sound kind of bad, but in the grander cosmic understanding of karma, we want every action to have an equal and opposite reaction. It's the only way Dharma makes sense. It's the only way the universe makes sense. We reap as we sow. And there's love even in that. It's like karma and Dharma were designed to teach us. And it slowly edges us towards self-improvement and higher realization and ascension to higher forms. And if you're Hindu and you believe in multiple gods like me and reincarnation, we're all going to be gods of love at some point in the future. We're all going to be gods, demigods. We might not all, I don't think Kali is so much of a station, but the demigods are stations like Indra, Vayu, Agni. These are stations that various beings hold. They were all once mortals. And if you're god of love, if you think of it as Indra's not necessarily a god of love, but if you think of Indra as a god of love, you're eventually going to be that god of love one day. And the love that you spread now, the development, the self-improvement that you do now is a vote for you becoming that god of love in the future. And think of all the love you can spread as a god of love. And think how joyous that would be. It all starts right here, right now, in this mortal birth. And eventually we're all meant to emit that light that we just received now. In a way, we're all meant to be a sun that's just shining light down and providing life. We're all meant to get there at some point. It just takes time, but we'll get there. You can endure far more than you think you can. You also matter more than you think you do. It may not feel like it most of the time, but you do. And you're so much stronger than you think you are. You're a human being. It took so long to get here, so long to get to this level. And now that you're at this level, what are you going to do with it? What can you do with it? You have so much potential within you. Human beings are the most potential-filled things on this planet. Don't be afraid to fail, but just keep trying. Just keep trying to use that potential and to become better at using that potential that you have as a human being. At any rate, I think I've gone on long enough. Remember, Memento Mori. You could pass from this life tomorrow. What are you going to do with it while you have it? And how are you going to appreciate those in your life that fill your life with meaning and joy? Feel free to like this video. It really helps out the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. I read all comments, try to respond to all comments, and feel free to share this wherever you like. At any rate, Jai Ma, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.